All right, so I'm sitting here in my office with Bobby Borg. He's one of our A&R people here at Taxi. He's been working with us for years. Bobby teaches at UCLA Extension and Musicians Institute. He's written a couple of great books and is an awesome teacher. And so we were talking in the hallway about doing these little videos. And I said, yeah, one day I should grab you out of your chair in the screening room and bring you in here and ask you about management, because that's one of Bobby's specialties, is talking about management. Question I get all the time from people is, I'm in a band, we're playing a local bar in Peoria, there's a guy in a suit that drives a Mercedes that comes in all the time, he loves our band, he's a real estate attorney, and he took a music law course in college and he wants to manage us. Should we have that guy manage us or should we not? What are the upsides, what are the downsides?
Remember this, there are personal managers and there are also personal damagers. So you obviously have to be very careful for the personal damagers. First of all, the best personal manager that you can find in the early stages of your career is obviously is self-management. So first you have to ask yourself, are you doing absolutely everything that you possibly can do on your own before even thinking about getting a personal manager?
But Bobby, I'm an artist. I just want to create. I don't want to do the business stuff.
Listen, don't forget, I've heard it all because I've said it at one point myself. But this is the way you have to look at it. Have to look at it like this. You guys have come this far. You've worked with your instruments, you've recorded, you've rehearsed, you've spent lots of money getting to this very point, and now you're just going to hand that over to somebody else? It's kind of a scary thought. What you really have to do is keep as much control of your career as possible until you finally say to yourself, wow, you know what, it would be helpful to bring somebody else into this because now I'm taking a little bit too much time away from my writing. And only at that point you might consider a personal manager.
But Bobby, the guy in the suit, says he'll give us $5,000 to go into the studio.
Well, then you have to be very, very careful about the type of agreement that he's actually, having you record. You definitely do not sign anything, have an attorney look at something. This sometimes could be a scenario that you get yourself involved in called the production agreement. Sometimes you have to be very, very careful about what you're signing. So if someone is going to actually bring you into the studio and have you record, make sure that you're very careful under the terms that you're recording. Very, very crucial.
Something I've heard before is that if you sign with and not to say all small town managers are bad, because there have been some guys that have done great work and brought bands very much to the fore, but I think there have been plenty of cases on record where a band signs with a well-meaning, not a bad guy, a really good guy maybe who has a little money and maybe even an attorney or something, says, I'll manage your group. And then the group gets attention from record labels, and the guys at the major labels say, look, we love you, but your manager's inexperienced, really not connected in the industry, is going to hurt your career more than help you. They recommend that you dump the manager, which unfortunately most groups I think would do, but the manager goes, sorry dudes, we have a contract. Yeah. Is this a true story I'm telling?
Actually, that does happen a lot of times. In fact, I think there was a great quote from a manager that is currently managing the Doors right now, Jeffrey Jampol, that says all managers will be fired at some point down the line. Here's what I think the smart personal manager would do. At some point when he sees that his group is building into that type of success, he might actually partner with a more successful management and sort of work under the umbrella of that successful manager. That happens quite a lot.
Do they split the fees then?
Then they would split the fees. So obviously, it goes to that saying, if you're a personal manager, half a loaf of bread is obviously better than none. But I mean, certainly, the best personal manager that you can get in the early stage of your career is probably that young guy. Probably your friend, maybe an intern at a small management company or a large management company, or a student that's studying management or in a music business program such as Berkeley or Miami or Musicians Institute or UCLA. And working with that person, because that's going to be the person that believes in you at the early stages of your career when you're not making money. And then obviously as you start to achieve some success, it's probably in his best interest to sort of partner with a more successful manager. And the smart one will do that, obviously, because the best interest is for the artist. There's only so much that person can do. So rather than trying to hold on to them and control them, he will look after their best interest and say, you know what, we need to make this decision.
That's an awesome manager, probably a rare bird, a little hard to find.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today, and I look forward to talking to you about some other stuff that's in your book.
This is great. Thanks.
All right.
Take care.